Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we talk with Nancy Brown from Kansas Farm Bureau about the fund set up to assist those affected by Kansas wildfires. And inside Kansas Ag, Kansas Wheat talks to us about the State's Wheat Yield Contest, and KDA talks about the City of Hays and water rights. And in news you need to know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Wheat Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association. Supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. U.S. farmers made and paid a little more in March than they did in February. The USDA says that the prices received index for ag products was up slightly on the month, with increases for livestock index canceling out a decrease in crops. The prices paid index was a little higher on the month, but down almost 4% on the year. Producers paid more for feeder cattle, propane gas, diesel, and feeder pigs, and less for field crop seeds, mixed fertilizers, and supplements. The American Farm Bureau Federation says this year's farmers applied for a record number of guest worker visas, but backlogs in the application process could cause crops in more than 20 states to go unharvested. AFBF says that the H-2A program has doubled over the last 10 years. Last year, the program certified a record number of workers, almost 140,000, and this year's second quarter numbers are up 13% from 2015. Farm Bureau is calling on Congress to pass responsible immigration reform that provides farmers access to a legal and stable workforce. Any recovery for the U.S. dairy farmer could be a year away. However, a dairy analysis says American dairy prices are faring better than global averages. Tom Bailey with Raybo Bank says that the slumped export increasing production and increased imports are oversupplying the U.S. market. He goes on to say that the U.S. has maintained a premium to the international market thanks to our performance on the butter and cheese markets here, which have done fairly well, and we've actually seen prices 20% or so off the international floor. And in local news, leaders of the Senate Agriculture Committee say they are still working to find a compromise on GMO labeling. Ag Committee Chair Pat Roberts calls GMO labeling a giant wrecking ball coming through the food industry. He goes on to say it's a real problem and it could morph into many different things. Roberts' comments were made during meetings with farm broadcasters in Washington, D.C. The top ag economist with the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City says 2016 will be a crucial year for some farmers. Nate Kaufman says that unless the farm profit picture shows dramatic improvements in 2016, some producers are going to face difficult circumstances going into 2017 and may find it difficult to continue farming. The Kansas City Federal Reserve's last quarterly report on farm lending activity shows the delinquency rate on farm loans ticked up and loan repayment rates dipped in the first quarter. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has announced the release of a 3-year conservation strategy that will guide the voluntary restoration of 500,000 acres of habitat for the lesser prairie chicken. This strategy is part of a strategic effort by USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service to restore grassland and prairie ecosystems while enhancing grazing lands in 5 states. With about 95% of the lesser prairie chicken range under private ownership, voluntary conservation is key. To learn more about assistance opportunities, ranchers should contact their local USDA Service Center. Up next in our Ag Feature, we talk with Nancy Brown from Kansas Farm Bureau about the fund set up to assist those affected by the Kansas wildfires. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned. Thank you for watching Kansas Ag Report. You have made us the highest rated ag TV show in the state of Kansas, and we thank you. If you would like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call, 785-580-3287.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Weed Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com.
Kansas Beef. Celebrate beef all May during Beef Month.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Spring is sprung and Premier Farm & Home has what you need to keep your yard crabgrass free throughout the season. With a complete line of pre-emergents, you can stop crabgrass before it starts. Premier Farm & Home, 900 Southwest University Boulevard, or find them on the web at heycow.com.
Thanks for staying with us this morning. We're at the Farm Bureau office here in Manhattan, and we're joined by Nancy Brown. Nancy, thanks for joining us this morning. A couple of weeks ago, you kind of came on and gave us a little 90-second segment on some of the things going on that Farm Bureau is doing as far as fire relief for Barber and Comanche counties. Where are we at with that?
Well, we've just had a tremendous response. You know, I think as everyone's heard, the hay and forage needs were met right away with such generous contributions from donors, getting hay down there right away to those livestock. We have had a lot of people donate labor, fencing supplies to help those ranchers rebuild those fences. We've through our website, we've been able to make several connections between people wanting to donate and people needing supplies and a little help on their ranch to start the rebuilding process.
And when we talk about the website, that's a great place to go and donate cash, because that's kind of where we're at right now. We need the money.
Yes. Yeah, I truly believe at this point, monetary donations are probably going to go the furthest in helping those ranchers down there. That will allow them, you know, they're in the rebuilding process right now. Some of them are still in the assessing what they need process, that kind of stuff. And so once they get the fences rebuilt and have applied for any type of, government help that they may be able to get for disaster assistance, they're going to have some expenses after that. And they're going to have a lot of animal health care needs that they'll need to take care of, and they'll need to replace the livestock that was lost. And so those situations are where the monetary donations are really going to come in the handiest for them and give them the most help down there.
And I think most people may not think about this, but labor is also going to be an issue, and being able to afford to pay for labor.
Right, that is true. And we, like I said, we have had a lot. We've had over 1,000 hours of labor donated through our website. So we've been able to make some of those connections, and we're still, we still have a lot of people wanting to donate, and we're just kind of waiting to be able to match those up with those who need it. And we've had several fencing supply companies who've offered to donate their time, their expertise in fence building, and donate their time to get that done for those folks.
Well, not only that, but you briefly touched on just the animal welfare and health that's going to be, this is a long-term issue.
That definitely will be an ongoing issue. There's going to be respiratory problems with those animals that were in the fire. Some may have, some burns that they'll be dealing with for a while, and then again, the livestock that were lost. Those ranchers are going to need to replace those animals and care for the ones that were injured.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to finish up with Nancy over at the Farm Bureau office in Manhattan. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Thanks for staying with us. We're at the Farm Bureau office over in Manhattan. We're joined by Nancy Brown. Again, thanks for staying with us. Matching needs to wants is kind of difficult. I mean, you've got a lot of people who are stepping up and going, we can do this, we can do this, but kind of filtering through those is becoming somewhat of a tedious task, I would imagine.
We do. We have, again, the outpouring of support has been so generous, as to be expected from the agriculture community. And so, yeah, we have gotten a lot of donations put on our website at kfb.org/fire relief. And we've had a lot of people offer to donate labor, supplies, some specialty items or specialty things that they can do for those ranchers down there. And so, yeah, we've spent a little time matching up those who are requesting help and with those offerings. So I just encourage anyone who is needing some help in a specific area, feel free to put that on our website, and you might be surprised how quickly you get a response to that request.
Well, not only that, what if I'm someone who knows how to dig wells or
Yes.
something, trenching or something like that?
Yes.
How do I get involved?
Yeah, again, go to our website, and there's an area where you can list the things that you can provide for those impacted by the fire. And again, the specialty items are, there's people asking for those and there's people needing those. So we encourage you to go to our website or give us a call, and we can help you get matched up with someone.
Well, not only that, I mean, you think about it, these pastures have been burned, cover crops and everything that goes along with that. Seed, I'm sure, is a major issue moving forward, coming into planting season.
Right. Yes, that's exactly right. That will definitely be one of the needs down there. So
yeah. Let's talk real quick about cash. Cash is,
cash is king.
Cash is king. Thank you, Nancy. Cash is one of those deals that no matter what form it comes in, you can buy whatever you need. And we just want to remind everybody, if you have the opportunity to go to the website and donate cash, kind of where we're at and what are you thinking we may need somewhere down the line? So.
Well, a dollar amount of what will be needed is really hard to say, because that's going to vary, and that's going to depend on the resources available to the ranchers. We here at Farm Bureau have raised, I think we're close to around $20,000 at the moment for both the ranchers, and some of that has been set aside also for the local fire departments that have been taxed. They were taxed for a good 2 weeks or more fighting those fires. So we do have some that have asked specifically to donate to them. And we have a lot of county farm bureaus who are donating. Some are donating directly, some are challenging others in their districts to donate as well. So we've just seen such a great response.
Website one more time.
www.kfb.org/fire relief.
Wheat yields have been a heated topic of discussion at coffee shops across Kansas for years. But 7 years ago, Kansas Wheat decided to up the ante and see who really had the best yields in the state. The 2016 Kansas Wheat Yield Contest is sponsored by Westbred, Kansas Wheat Alliance, Lima Grain, Plains Gold, AgriPro, and Kansas Wheat. Kansas farmers with the top wheat yields in 3 regions will win $1,000. If the regional winners use a variety from a sponsor of the contest, they will receive an additional $500. The samples from the optional quality initiative will be evaluated for quality components such as test weight, protein content, variety, and kernel quality. Top scoring samples will undergo further testing at ADM's Milling Quality Laboratory in Kansas City. The sample with the top quality score will receive $250 in cash. The entry form for the 2016 Kansas Wheat Yield Contest is due June 1, 2016. A management form, harvest rules, and a harvest report form will be mailed to contestants prior to harvest. These forms, along with the Quality Initiative sample, must be postmarked by July 8, 2016. For more information on the contest, please visit www.kansaswheat.org/yield contest.
Water is a critical resource in the state of Kansas. One key responsibility of the Kansas Department of Agriculture's Division of Water Resources is to govern how water is allocated and used through managing the state's system of water rights. I'm David Barfield, Chief Engineer for the state of Kansas. In much of the state, the water resources are fully appropriated, so we do not grant any new water rights. Any new or expanded use of water is met through changing an existing water right. This process is underway for the City of Hays, where the city is pursuing changing a large number of water rights. City of Hays has very strict water control measures, as it is in a part of the state with few reliable water resources. To meet their long-term needs, in 1995, the city purchased a 7,000-acre ranch of irrigated lands in Edward County, 90 miles to the south. Now Hays has submitted applications to change these water rights. As they propose to move the water more than 35 miles, they have also filed a water transfer application. This is a complex process, and the Division of Water Resources is overseeing the change applications to ensure that these will be done in a way without injury to other water rights. In addition to managing water rights, the Division of Water Resources also administers 30 laws to protect this critical natural resource. Other responsibilities include protecting our interstate entitlements and regulating the state's water courses and floodplains. You can find out more information about the Division's responsibility or about the Hays Water Right Change process on our website at agriculture.ks.gov/DWR.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Spring is sprung, and Premier Farm & Home has what you need to keep your yard crabgrass free throughout the season. With a complete line of pre-emergents, you can stop crabgrass before it starts. Premier Farm & Home, 900 Southwest University Boulevard, or find them on the web at heycow.com.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Spring is here, and Premier Farm and Home can help you stop crabgrass before it starts. With a 6-month residual, Premier has what you need to protect your lawn all season long. Premier Farm and Home, 900 Southwest University Boulevard, or find them on the web at heycow.com.
Nearly 100 Wichita consumers took part in the April 23rd Day at the Farm tour organized by the Greenwood County Cattlewomen. Jamie Lindemood, who planned the educational event, conceived the tour idea after attending the Kansas Livestock Association Leadership Conference in January. She said educating consumers about how farmers and ranchers produce their food has become nearly as important as actually growing it. Lindemood lives on a farm with her husband Diltz near Eureka. Upon boarding the tour bus in Wichita, the group heard from area range specialists Luke Westerman and Dale Kirkham about the history and geologic makeup of the native tallgrass prairie in the Kansas Flint Hills. Jack and Becky Lindemood from Quincy hosted a stop focused on crop and hay production, where participants climbed on tractors and other equipment as they saw a chronological illustration of how seeds become feed and feed becomes food. Following a beef lunch, the group was exposed to a prescribed burn at Lindemood Ranch, where smoke management was discussed. The next stop at Del Banks Angus of Eureka included presentations about beef byproducts by Amy Perrier and Anna Curry, and animal husbandry and breeding technologies by KLA President Matt Perrier. Also at this stop, Greenwood County KLA Chairman Glenn Collins, along with the Del Banks crew, demonstrated how calves are worked. A wildflower walk concluded the tour.
Good morning. I'm Cody Wintersheet with Paragon Ag Advisors. Wow, what a difference a mere 30 to 40 days can make in regards to market action. It's easy to forget how lethargic and sideways the markets were for the previous 6 to 7 months, with how much excitement they've had since the beginning of April. Since that time, corn has rallied around 40 cents, and soybeans, being the leader, have rallied around $1.30. And believe it or not, the market hasn't even began to trade U.S. weather yet, although there has been weather issues attributed to part of this rally, just in South America. We also believe that the length of time the markets were just trading sideways played a hand in the abrupt change, thanks in large part to the fund's presence. As the latest Commitment of Traders report shows, the funds have now completely flipped their bearish position to bullish in corn, much like they did in the soybeans around a month ago. Although these are all good and exciting items, remember that the funds can and are very nimble in their positions, regardless of the size of that position. As always, weather is the ultimate trump card, and the shift from El Nino to La Nina seems to be gaining traction here lately. Two other major markets we've mentioned recently, crude oil and the US dollar, continue to move in beneficial directions for the rest of the commodity sector. However, they are both at or near some critical levels that could play a hand in at least the near-term direction of the grains until a weather situation develops. So continue to keep an eye on these two markets along with the longer-range weather forecast for some big picture guidance as you move forward. Thank you and have a great day.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Weed Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Kansas Beef. Celebrate beef all May during Beef Month.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.